some categories we are never able to crack, and cyber being one of them, radio most often. So I just feel that our strike rate would have gone up if we had better representation in those areas. Well, I just think that we've been very well represented in design, which is another great thing, because design is a tough one to crack with so much of Japanese competition and things like that. So I'm quite happy with those.
See, I don't think it's just Asia. I think overall, I don't know. My sense is that all the work that's getting created to win here is increasing, which according to me is not such a good thing. So that is happening, and it's also something that is evident across countries. I'm not sure it's only Asia.
You know, Cannes is at its very premise is a festival created to celebrate ideas. So I don't think it's a festival created to celebrate the size of the execution or the scale of the execution. So if it is a beautiful idea which is even released once, and obviously if it is not released by a client, and if there is no proper, all those kind of things, then you have a problem. But if it's an idea which somebody has come up with, somebody believes in so much that the client has bought the idea and then they've entered it, there's nothing wrong with that.
You can use the Cannes Lion for in a good way, and you can use it in a way that is bad for the industry. So you can get a lion and then use the publicity around the idea to make it bigger. And a lot of people have done that. And first time, there's some ideas here that are really big ideas that the world hasn't seen, and they're winning golds and maybe trophies. And those ideas create some buzz around them. See the Cannes Lion is the validity of a great idea. So now, can you make that bigger? Now if you stop it, okay, I've got a lion, that's it. Now next year let's try something else. But you've got an idea like the Coke machine idea. India should know about it also. So it's winning everywhere. People are talking about it. Now is the time to get maybe the countries, maybe home ministers to touch hands and things, rather than just leave it at we got a lion. The Western jury thinks that the whole country is going nuts about this Coke vending machine, but it's just the advertising community.
Yeah. No, but the possibilities are there because there are so many warring neighbors. I mean, it's easy to roll out.
I mean, they won a lion here. Will they take it forward? I mean, they should. It's a beautiful idea. But if they leave it at this, just it's got won a lion, so next year let's try something else, then it will be unfortunate.
And if you can give them is that it just happened about 3 months back.
Yeah.
Not like something which happened last year. So I'm hoping here.
Definitely, Cannes is also not a bad expression, if you ask me. Because if somebody tells you that the work is definitely Cannes, that means there is a positive, hope in the idea. That's why they talk about it. It's not about to pull the idea down. So I think we should look at it that way.
There's no problem in awards as such, in creativity as such, in anything like that. I think the problem is that here there is a culture, right? The West has a culture, right? And that culture we get to see back in India through their award books and award shows. You know what is winning, what is not winning. So what happens to a lot of people is this like sort of cockeyed sort of creativity, which is that that has won. So if I make something like that, it may win. That is the actual problem with this situation. So if your eye is on that part there, then you forget that your eye is supposed to be here on the audience of India. So you forget that you are coming from this culture. And I know that a lot of people believe that there is one culture in the world, and the biggest ideas in the world can go across all cultures and all. But it's not like that. See, today advertising has become, all the big ideas in the world have been taken. The nuanced ideas are what are left. And nuanced ideas belong to cultures, belong to people. So if you have this sort of, if you're going to look at one place and try to, make an ad for that kind of audience, then you're basically not being true to what you're supposed to, which is your audience.
I think the jury walks into the room to pick up ideas that are fresh, relevant, makes you feel smaller. This sets a new standard in advertising. I think that's what the juries are briefed. It's the headache of the committee guys to make sure that it's scam or not scam. I think we have pulled up 6 campaigns in print because they didn't meet the criteria. There is a certain criteria that you set. If certain things are not meeting, they're supposed to be down. So yeah, Goa Fest actually is a huge learning for all Indians. I don't think we'll be that greedy and aggressive next year on awards. I think the scams and this whole greediness will come down drastically next year. Either it will happen, with good intentions, or it won't happen. I have a feeling that it's either or. Can I just clarify the greediness that I'm talking about? This is keeping the suits in mind, not the creative guys. I think after a point, creative guys just follow the hat after a point. It's the suit who 30% of his bonus is linked to the performance of the agency. And these guys who are chairing those things, they have to be somewhere clear what they are doing. I think just because it's your agency, you can't hide those things. Yeah? It should be opened up. Why only 3 campaigns your medals were pulled down at Goa Fest? Why not those other 8 campaigns? This is a big question that still it's unanswered.
I mean, some levels it started, if you look long back, I was still a kid. It was pretty okay to think of stuff proactively for a client and go to him and tell him why did you do this. Yeah, it's just that it's taken a different, I mean the name itself is a tainted one, scam. It just sounds like it's something so wrong. But if I change the whole thing and look at it in a proactive sense, I have some clients who sometimes don't give a shit. But I feel there's something you can create for the client that can have value. That is proactive. If the client buys it, if the client is willing to support it, it doesn't really sound that vicious.
Right.
But I think it's really when you start stepping out of the roster and start creating a roster which you don't have. Maybe that's when this practice starts taking a more vicious form.
First of all, erase the word scam from the advertising dictionary. They could have, I mean, the ideas could have been scaled up to a large extent. For example, the Levi's idea, which we first did in India, was then taken by Levi's and they've used it in other markets. So that's no measure of a scam. Sometimes when you see the idea, I think this whole scam word is also coming from a very Sark rape phenomenon. You know, it's a lot to do with people who have not won. Even at Goa Fest, at Cannes more so, because you've got lobbies from around the world, and you've got different people feeling that they deserve to win and they didn't win. So they start pulling down the work that has won, saying that it could have been a scam, or you make an assumption that it's a scam. That's why. So I mean that those two are unrelated.
It's not a brand campaign that's supposed to last for 6 months. For an exhibition that happened in Ravindranath Mandir at Dadar, we released 3 ads in Bombay Times, 3 ads in Maharashtra Times, 150cc, soloist position because we fought for that position. For various reasons, we didn't put the key number. It was authentic. 23rd, 24th, 25th of April, 3 each got released. I think whoever is saying it's really having some sour grapes. So, and definitely, as I think we have heard this plenty of times, Marshall this time said, an ad badly done is a scam ad. That's the definition of scam.
That's fantastic.
It's absolutely awesome.
You have wasted clients' money, people's energy, entering that work at Cannes, wasting our time. It's bloody scam.
I don't think we should split it now media-wise or category-wise. I think if
I think we are all integrated now.
yeah, it involves a lot more in terms of budgets and all that. So probably it is a little more difficult to do proactive work, if you want to put it that way. I agree with you on that. But then I think you should stop talking about scams. Yeah. Why are we talking about scams? I think we should be celebrating the fact that India has done well this year. The fact that we've doubled the lines from last year. I mean, that should be the conversation about.
Apart from India, no other country talks about scam in last 2 years. Thailand, Singapore at one point of time they used to win big.
Look at ideas that have started really small, that have got famous at Cannes and then become huge, like the Dove Evolution. It was, some guys got an idea and did it. It wasn't something that a client briefed them on. But once it got big, it got big, it became their campaign, and it went on to change the conversation for Dove.
Gorilla picked up a crockery. Client said, "Are you mad to take this and run it?" But 18 people went and pushed that work for 6 weeks. It looks like scam. If it was from India, people are like, Cadbury पे बंदर आके बजा रहे, it's pure scam.
First start by saying that you present to a client and saying this is a gold line. That's it. That's the end of your career. I think you should start by saying that I believe in this idea and it's a good idea and it should work in the marketplace first. And then if the client believes in it, and then this is almost like after this is the last part of the act, right?
Look at the maturity of the awareness of CAN for our clients and our shoots. You have a lot of clients coming here nowadays. In fact, it's a huge amount of guys from PAG. They've been coming for a long time. And PAG slowly has understood the importance of creativity in their business. And it led to the Old Spice campaign. Okay. They've been coming here for years. Now they understand that brands like Volkswagen, they have real business, real transformational kind of ideas that are changing their business. Clients and our suits and agency heads understand that better. The whole approach to work will be better. It won't be to win a lion, but it will be to do amazing, great work, and we'll get there.
See, I think there's a point in what he said. The brief is not the prerogative of a client. We all know the marketplace, we all know the insights of the market. We can come up with a brief which makes it a proactive piece of work which works. So it doesn't mean that we follow the formula, client gives brief, then you respond to brief. We all know the market needs, we know how to respond to the market needs. If we have an idea and an opportunity, we are going to go to the client and sell it.
Clients have become better and better. We used to have tough time 8 years back to convince them on basic things. The production budgets have gone to 4-5 crores. 5 years back, 40 lakh was a tough thing to sign.
The bigger the brand, the more aware they are, and they're looking at other brands who are doing well because of great work. And they come to us and say, we want work like that. And it's not because it's won a lion, but because it's work that made their brands famous.
I've seen that over years. That when they see and they get exposed to a lot of big work, they go back, not necessarily saying not all of them say I want things like that, but it suddenly does open them up saying, okay, there's a lot more possible. What we can push it in that. So that happens.
Coca-Cola itself has singularly inspired a lot of clients because it's great work that's doing great for the business.
Right. And I think CAN is an experience which changes everybody's mind. All the creative people who come here. When I came here first, I didn't win anything. But then the next time I came, I picked something up for Slim, since you keep bringing it up. But so that I think it's an experience that everybody should go through at some point in time. We are among a lucky few who keep coming maybe more than once. But if a lot of young creative people come in early to CAN, I'm sure their careers will do a lot more. And a lot of young clients who come in at the same time will probably change the way their company works.
So every year we actually have a policy of picking about 4-5 people who are not necessarily old. So there are, in fact, even this year we have about 4 people who are young. And then I think 2 of them are even under 30 and stuff. So it's not like young people. At least from our agency we do see.
There are youngsters from JWT, O&M, Leo Manet, McCann, a lot of guys from different agencies. At least I think 4 to 5 youngsters from each agency.
I think another reason for that, you don't see so many of them, the youngsters are sticking around one agency to another. So you don't feel like rewarding them for the loyalty, and that's also a big reason why you won't see so many young people.
Very true.
So today youngsters are jumping around between agencies so fast, so you don't have people who spend that quality time.
Big take out these 4 goals for us, and I don't think we'll able to beat our this year's score. So definitely it's a big take out for me. The judging process was quite a learning for me. A guy like Marcelo, the king of print, the god of Brazil. So we had a fantastic time. Very clear, very single-minded. He looks for everything that an ad needs to be there. He's a guy, as he keep on saying, reduction. Simplicity, less is more, according to him. So I think that's a huge experience learning for all the 18 jury members sitting in the show.
From the direct jury that piece that we finally gave the Grand Prix, that was a big learning. It was a great case study of getting an idea and doing it in every media and every component, and planning out a campaign, architecture of a campaign perfectly, and just getting it into everyone's consciousness, whether you're a kid or you're a guy in office, or people people's kids and parents knew about this idea somehow or the other. So there was a game, there was a book, there was a video, there were posters, everything possible, and everything was executed perfectly. So an idea that you can't really slot it into any media. And one word has been popping up, which will stay in my consciousness, which is be authentic. Yeah, whether it's a comedian or it's a pop star or it's somebody from a brand, everyone is talking about be authentic, be true, forget everyday profit. Because if you stick to one purpose that you've got in a brand and stick to it forever, then finally you'll be big.
So for me, the biggest takeout has been that the biggest campaigns that are winning are how successful they've been on social media and not necessarily just big hits in their countries. So take Real Beauty sketches or take Dumb Ways to Die. The scale of at which they've been a hit is what has really stayed back with me, saying if you want to win like that, like create something that's big, it's a world phenomena, it's not necessarily a country phenomenon.
Number of campaigns even from India which has been one campaign or one piece which has been consistently picking up across categories. And just say that even if you do one thing and you do it really well, that's all that you don't need to not play the quantity game anymore. You just need to play the quality game with one really good piece. Look at Dumb Ways to Die. When I was talking to the guy, I think his last count is some 4 Grand Prix, 14 golds, and he doesn't know the number of silvers and bronzes. So, I mean, it just shows, one good piece done well, take it to every medium possible, see how many ways you can make it interact with the viewer, the consumer. Instead of just making it instead of prescribing the emotion, what can we do to make them feel it, interact with it, and then you'll automatically find yourself in many more categories. Probably the problem also of us being represented in many more categories gets solved. It's sometimes in all ideas there's a scope. We are maybe not taking it to those many mediums and giving it its full life. In the rush to have multiples, we are not doing justice to the one great piece we have.
Award-winning work this time around, and in fact for the past 2 or 3 years, it's been such seamless joined up thinking, and probably that's one area where we need to pick up, because we're not represented across all the areas in such a seamless way across all touch points. And when you see a complete campaign like that, you naturally award it for its better part of it in every category. It's not that one idea is picked up and because you want it here, you want it somewhere else. It genuinely deserves it in each of those categories because it's genuinely seamless.
Continue to chase ideas and not to chase what happens to the ideas. I mean, if you focus on that one thing every day for every Indian creative back there in India, I mean that's all that matters. Finally, what happens to the idea depends on a lot of parameters, a lot of clients' wishes, the budgets and all that. But if you keep chasing an idea, then somewhere it will reach the distance that we all hope.
You always think of scale, and as a creative person, you want to make big ads and you want large communication thoughts and all. And if you just see, it's a jingle. It's just a beautifully crafted jingle and very, very simply crafted animation. And that, just the fact that can become such a beautiful piece of work is a great piece of learning for me. For me, it was craft, which came across as the big thing. Because this particular one is a really simple idea. It is, it's just a simple, deliberately ordinary crafting of that idea, which has really made that simple idea look and feel so popular and so big.
It's been spoken about for craft as well, and for a craft line as well. Because of that reduction and because of that choosing to craft it so simply is a big decision.